Welcome to the GFY Podcast, a podcast by healthcare professionals providing insight on how to navigate your health so that you can go fix yourself. The GFY Podcast is hosted by Mike Bruno, a chiropractor and athletic trainer, and me, Michael Stantz, an athletic trainer and certified strength and conditioning specialist. Although we're healthcare providers, we are not your healthcare provider. We will discuss general health interventions in this podcast, but you should not take that as health advice that works in every situation. Before doing anything on your own or making any lifestyle changes, please consult with your own physician. Also, this podcast and the views expressed here are separate from our full-time jobs and represent our own opinions. If you're enjoying the GFY podcast, please leave us a review on your listening platform and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. Link to our show can be found in the show notes on whatever platform you're listening to. This episode and future episodes are released on Saturdays. They will be solo episodes hosted by me. I'll be using this time to review a specific health and wellness topic in depth or to give some insight on something in the news that is getting coverage, trying to review the research and science behind whatever that is. These episodes are designed to be about 10 to 15 minutes in length to help you learn something interesting or gain insight into why a specific treatment is used. And honestly, it gives me an opportunity to learn a little bit as well. The inspiration for today's episode actually comes from my own medicine cabinet. I was reviewing the supplements that I take, and I thought to myself, why don't I take a multivitamin? I'm personally a big fan of the longevity doctors out there, and I noticed that multivitamins rarely get a shout out from them. Typically, when talking about longevity and brain health, I come across vitamin D, vitamin K, omega-3s, magnesium, and so on. Typically, they're kind of more single vitamins or minerals that are involved. It's reported that at least 31% of adults use multivitamins daily. Typically, they're used for quote-unquote general wellness and should fill the gaps in the diet. It got me thinking, does a multivitamin ever make sense? Should everyone be on one? Or should no one be on one? So let's dive into what's actually out there regarding multivitamins. First, a quick breakdown of some nutrition terms that I will use today. I will mainly be talking about micronutrients. This includes vitamins and minerals that do not produce calories. This is different from macronutrients, which refer to things that produce energy, such as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Another thing I want to look into is regulation and safety before we start. I want to make a note on supplementation in general and how they are classified in the U.S. Supplements are not evaluated by the FDA before they get to market. They are not required to have the stringent safety and efficacy testing that pharmaceuticals do. So truly, anyone can throw a supplement together, put it on a shelf, and slap claims on the label to convince you to buy it. Supplements can have more, less, or even none of the ingredient that it claims to have. Depending on the supplement and where it's made, 2 to 25% of supplements can have contaminants ranging from arsenic and heavy metals to THC or methamphetamines. Because of this, prior to taking a supplement, I recommend looking for a few specific labels. One, look for some third-party testing labels. Typically, it's going to be for an NSF or Informed Sport logo. And the other label is GMP, which stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. These labels guarantee that the supplements contain what they are supposed to contain and are free from harmful contaminants. As always, I did a brief review of systematic reviews on multivitamins for generally healthy people to kind of get some information for this podcast. The first article I came across was published in JAMA in 2022. It looked at multivitamin supplementation and preventing cardiovascular disease and cancer. This study analyzed the NHANES database, National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, which is a large public health database where many of these studies take place. This specific study was done by the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. In reviewing the data, they came to the conclusion that when it comes to cardiovascular disease and cancer prevention, multivitamins have no benefits, but they also don't really cause any harm. There's a caveat. It is recommended that smokers avoid multivitamins, especially those with vitamin E or beta-carotene in them. That's just due to their increased risk of lung cancer already being smokers. But overall, for the general population, multivitamins have no effect. So for the big diseases, doesn't really do much of anything. But what about for brain health? There was actually a really good study done in 2013 looking at cognitive function in those who took multivitamins versus those who did not. This tracked people from 1997 to 2011, so a very long time. They had a very good pre-test, post-test model. They had a control group, a placebo group, a multivitamin group. There was a couple thousand people in every group, and both researchers and participants were blinded. This is your classic double-blinded randomized clinical control trial. The result, there were no differences between any of the groups in cognitive function. Interestingly enough, the authors concluded that either the dose was not high enough or the group was already quote unquote well nourished. To me, that just sounds like they didn't want to believe that multivitamins don't do anything for generally healthy people. So what about athletes? What about people that truly have maybe a little bit higher energy need? So, right, it is well known that athletes are generally at higher risk of micronutrient deficiencies due to their increased need for general energy. The theory is that supplementation can help them bridge those nutrition gaps. However, the research doesn't really focus on athletes utilizing generic multivitamins. Instead, it reviews specific vitamin and mineral deficiencies that athletes might have. A systematic review showed the importance of all micronutrients, but when we look at performance, multivitamins rarely come up. A recent systematic review on dietary supplements in elite soccer players didn't mention multivitamins at all. It focused on more specific interventions shown to actually increase performance, such as caffeine, creatine, protein, electrolytes, tart cherry juice, beetroot concentrate, and sodium bicarbonate. When it comes to research around athletes, you'll see these supplements come up again and again across multiple sports. And by the way, that is a list of supplements I plan on reviewing another day, especially creatine. So for athletes, while a multivitamin might be recommended to cover bases, the research on it is non-existent. The science focused on performance-related supplements that move the needle much more. That said, there are clear reasons to use multivitamins, such as during pregnancy, postpartum, and other specific deficits. During pregnancy, early on, folic acid is important to prevent neural tube defects, and pre- and postnatal vitamins are generally recommended. Vitamin D supplementation is recommended for babies early on as well, since, they spend most of their time inside. So what are my thoughts? Supplementation can be used to help fill gaps in your nutrition, especially for those who are highly physically active. However, do you want to take a shotgun approach to supplementation, or would you rather know exactly what you're deficient in? With the shotgun approach, especially with micronutrients, there can be unintended consequences. Like a shotgun, you may hit your target, but you may accidentally hit something else you didn't mean to. Increasing one vitamin or mineral might affect the levels of another one that you did not intend to change. My recommendation would be to look into annual blood testing that takes a look at your vitamins and minerals, your micronutrients, and see if you actually have any deficiencies. If you can't convince your healthcare provider to do this, you can look into multiple different companies that do independent blood testing. These companies give you deep insights. Services such as Function Health, Inside Tracker, and even Hims and Hers now have options for blood testing. You are most likely not doing this, though, if you feel perfectly healthy with normal energy throughout the day. Some longevity experts recommend getting blood tested once a year, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. Typically, insurance will cover an annual blood test. Now, let's say once you get that done, you start there with some single supplements. See if those work or improve your blood work. If you're still having issues, then consult with a registered dietitian who probably has more insight to why your diet or supplementation is not working. Unfortunately, most physicians, especially general family physicians, generally are not well versed in nutrition, so an RD should really be your next stop. The ultimate goal is that you truly get everything you need from your normal diet. Once again, this means eating plentiful fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Avoid ultra-processed foods. When you grocery shop, you should probably avoid the chip and snack aisles and stay in the produce, meats, and the refrigerated aisles. So in summary, 1, multivitamins do not have any clear value in preventing disease. 2, they can help bridge some gaps in diet, but it's still recommended to prioritize real food to address your micronutrient needs. 3, when it comes to deficiencies in pregnancy or postpartum, multivitamins are most likely useful. 4, if you truly want to take an exact approach, get comprehensive blood work done. Go through your primary care doctor or use a blood testing company like Function Health or Inside Tracker to figure out any deficiencies and create a plan from that. If that does not work, consult with your registered dietitian. I hope you enjoyed this brief review on multivitamins. If you enjoyed this episode or any other episode of the GFY podcast, please leave us a review on your favorite listening platform or on YouTube. If you have not already, please subscribe or follow us. If you have any questions or want a certain topic researched, send an email to wellinformed24@gmail.com or send a DM to our Instagram handle @gfy.podcast. You can find links to our socials in the show notes and subscribe to the Well Informed newsletter as well. Have a great day.